Pleasant good morning to one and all. Good morning to all those students of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption, Incompetence. Welcome to the midweek episode. Today, Wednesday, the 19th day of November, in the year of our Lord 2025. Welcome to this program this morning. Another great day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let's give praise and thanks for being in the land of the living. It's a privilege to be in the land of the living, and we should never, ever take that for granted. Welcome. I hope you had a wonderful, a restful night. Hope you're looking forward to the remainder of the week being very productive. I think it's around this time, or today is the 19th of November. Around this time, there are pay salaries for government workers and so on. So everybody must be anxiously awaiting their salaries. A lot of you don't spend it even before you receive it. And I guess you're still waiting to hear about cash grant. They don't hear Bob Marley say, I don't want to wait in vain. Hope you're waiting in vain. Hope you are not waiting in vain. So yes, welcome. Share the live and let others know that we're on. And as you come on, as I said, give me a thumbs up, man. Give me pay. That's all we ask you to do when you come on. When the program goes live, give us a thumbs up to show your appreciation. And we're going to show ours by coming here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to bring you credible, valuable information. So yes, share the live. The school gates were open at 8 o'clock this morning. As I tell you, I'm walking out this thing, now figure out to get past this landscape, or at least get the landscape set up and everything in time so they can open the gate precisely at 8 o'clock. And I was able to do so this morning. What I'm unable to do so far is to I don't know. I told you how it in YouTube. It's coming up over the past 2 weeks or so. In an email form at something that is on YouTube, but on Facebook the names are showing up in the chat, in the comments, in the usual manner. I'm gonna try to figure it out. And if anyone here has a type of expertise or can guide me as to what I can do, please do so. Please do so, because it's a little bit confusing the way it is displayed at this time. So yeah, share the live. Great to be in the land of the living. Great to be in the land of the living. Many persons would not have been this fortunate. So we have got to give praise and thanks to Almighty. And let me thank you too for your attendance on Monday. Oh God, we had a fantastic turnout on Monday. And even YouTube has reflected that. YouTube and Facebook, they have reflected the outstanding turnout. We have tens of thousands viewers. So we appreciate that, and that motivates us to do our research, come bring you credible, valuable information. So we're gonna continue to do that. Even though now and again, there's a lot of water the sycophants, and they don't talk about the substance, They don't talk about the substance of the program. They ask, what them two old men doing here? One tell me something, and the last program running the comments, something this old time born up man or something like that. There's all like a coverage, There's all like a coverage. There's a level of their intelligence. There is a level. They're intellectually lazy. Some of them have no intellectual capacity. So that's where they come. But let it come, man. Let it come. So yeah, share, and we are going to do the usual thing. My colleagues, he sees in the studio. So far, let me keep my fingers crossed. No technical issues this morning, and here we are to bring you the credible, valuable information over the next 2 hours or so. So share the live, share. And I implore you to continue to subscribe to the channel. We've just passed 12,000 subscribers a few days ago. I think that was actually when we last met on Monday. We passed that line. So it was only about a month or two ago. We passed 10. Now we have passed 12, and we keep growing. So, and I gotta cuss out some of you too, because many of you on this program, regulars, I can see when I go into the analytics, you have not subscribed, even though you're here religiously every day. And we appreciate that. But you must subscribe too. You must subscribe as well to the channel on YouTube. Or if you're not a YouTuber, follow the page on Facebook. Easy, not difficult. Now, when we open the gate at 8 o'clock, on the dot, first person in, and I say, now what we do, we just recognize the people who are in very early, and we're going to do it again. First body, it was Peter. Then Peter was followed by Sean. He's a regular, you don't miss it. Danny is here very early. Wayne from the UK. Gibbo. Then we have Anthony, 11032 Bradshaw. Then who is the Anne is here as well at 8. Evelyn. Kerry is here. All these are 8 o'clock people. Essie, Trotty. Then we had Aubrey from Canada. Rawl, he came at 8:01. Joy, Joan from New Amsterdam. Felicia, Clive from UK. Winston from California. This is Emerson, Pinky, then Barbara. Courtney came next. And then it was Ivor, Marcus. All these came at 8:01. Puran from the Essequibo Coast. Patrick from the UK. Yeah, and then when we went, when the doors were open, let me see who came in very, very early. Give recognition to those persons. Then the early person A was Stian. Edward they get beat out. Y'all both of you came at 11:01. But Stian is listed first. Then we have Matthew, Simon, Carlton, Popo is here. Trifosa is here with us. Charlene, Joy, Wills, and the list goes on. Pam, and the list goes on and on. So welcome. Now let's move to the announcements. Let's start with the sad ones first. I told you some time ago about the death of the sister of retired Assistant Commissioner Gavin Primo. Well, I got information a while ago, not so long ago, that she will be buried, and the funeral service is on the November the 22nd. Funeral service, November the 22nd, Caribe Funeral Home, Utica Avenue. Viewing from 4 to 6:30, then service from 6:30 to 8 p.m., and then a repast followed. In case for those people in Brooklyn, Caribe Funeral Home is on Utica 1922 Utica Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. So that will be the going home service and viewing for Gavin's sister. Then we told you on Monday of the death of Woman Sergeant 21729 Blair. I haven't gotten any information about the funeral arrangement as yet. And then yesterday it was that we learned of the death of another serving police. And I refer you to Inspector Sherwin Arlington Dotson, right, of the Immigration Department. He died recently. I think it might have been either Monday or Tuesday. He died. A lot of deaths in the police force, a lot of deaths. Something is wrong. I'm not superstitious. Oh, Lord, when you have all of these deaths. And somebody said to me, Larry Lewis would have served like about 11 years. And in his entire 11 years, he didn't believe so many policemen died as those that has died under the current commissioner. So I know. Then, but in terms of Dotson, already the details are published. Night of Reflection, Monday the 24th, Monday the 24th of November from 18 hours at the Heavenly Light World Outreach Fellowship. That is 150 Cooper Street, Alboyston. And then the funeral is say on Wednesday the 26th, viewing from 10 to 11 Sandy's Funeral Home. And then the church, then further viewing of the church from 12, and the service starts from 1. That is the arrangement for the late Inspector Sherwin Arlington Dotson. Then I learned last evening of the death of a countryman of mine, a Grove Match, Lloyd Hopkins's son. Lloyd Hopkins's son died, and they say under tragic circumstances he fell from his steps, struck his head, and died. 30 years or something like that. And then I learned this morning of the death of a 5-time triple jumper, guy in a 5-time triple jumper. I think it was Damon T.J. Williams. I learned that he might have been a member of the police sports club, not a policeman, but a member of the police sports club, that he died recently as well. I want to express condolences to all the relatives, friends, members of the force for the loss of one of your colleagues and all that. Again, take this opportunity to tell you, make sure that you check on your health. Make sure. It should be a routine thing. For the board president announcements, board greetings today are going out to retired woman deputy commissioner Maxine Graham. Maxine is observing a natal day today. Also observing is Superintendent Dylan Fraser, attorney at law. Superintendent Dylan Fraser, one of the promising members of the current Guyana Police Force. So Maxine and Dylan are celebrating today. And then a few days ago, I learned of the birth anniversary on the 15th. That was on the 15th of November, and I referred it was the birth anniversary of retired Woman Assistant Commissioner Jeanette McLean, W77. She had her 86th birthday last Saturday, and I was called and I was informed of it, and I immediately made a note because Jeanette and I had a very, very good professional relationship. Very nice. Jeanette was a very nice person. I think years ago with Special Branch, and she came and she was at Larry Lewis's office there as a PAC. And we became very good friends when we were both members of the police, the Police Officers Mess Committee. When Kasim was the president of that, or chairman of that body, Jeanette and I were members along with Monica Wright. And then what happened? Monica Light. And then what happened is that when, in those days, when the venue was rented out to any outside body, members of the committee had to be there to supervise, just overlook. And the three of us were always there we sat and we gaff and all of that. And therefore, Jeanette, I want to wish you all the best along with the others. And then let me go on to say we have some upcoming birthdays. We have a board anniversary coming up of retired, I think, Senior Superintendent Lyndon Lord. Let us call him, oh Lord. He has a birthday coming up shortly. Also shortly, a student from Barbados, Keith Allen, my nephew, Keith Allen. He is going to be observing soon. And a good friend of mine as well, Trevor Llewellyn Ben, UG classmate, and Swan. He's one of the people like me that put into all kind of legal troubles and so on. So Trevor is going to be observing a board anniversary soon. And I also want to, again, shout out to the boy Tyson and the boys in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the people of Montserrat. And, some people get jealous, having shouted out to those people, somebody from Jamaica told me, not Dudley, somebody else, so don't forget the Jamaicans, So let me shout out to all people. We have people from Cayenne, people from France, people from the UK, people from Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Suriname, all those places, Canada, of course, and many other places, right? On one occasion, I think we had someone from Iran, and we have a lot of people following this program, Well, let us know where you're watching from. Let us know where you're watching from. Let me bring in CC, and then we're going to come back to some more issues, and then we're going to go straight into the meat of the program. CC, welcome. Hope you had a wonderful night.
Good morning. Happy to be in the land of the living to do God's work. Yes, I had a very quiet night, and my sympathy to the members of the bereaved. And we got to be careful, because and learn from the experiences of others. Too many policemen are dying. Too many under different circumstances. And remember, the army had a similar situation when I think Rear Admiral Gary Best was in command, and he made some very firm decisions. Mandatory physical checkup from top to bottom. Everybody mandatory physical checkup. You look at the physical training, and most important, you look at the meals, the mess, what the mess preparing, all the oily food and all kind of thing there, and he put a stop into that. He made sure that they were well fed and had the proper diet. So he look at the exercise, he look at the medical checkup, which is mandatory, the diet, and then he prayed for divine intervention. And then they had a lull in the situation. It's not alarming in the Guyana police force, but it's worrying that active members are going to great beyond regularity. On a happier note, I called Dylan this morning. We had a nice little gift, and I wish him happy birthday. Happy birthday also to Maxine. I understand you're one of our students. You listen. You and somebody say you on your veranda and is make a whole sort of nice day, when the program is going on. So a happy birthday to Dylan and to Maxine Graham and to Lyndon Lord, my boy. I remember when I was commander ENF division, he was my detective sergeant at Mabrumo, and he did some excellent work. I remember sending him to see a certain man, a certain big man in the force, and the big man said, don't send nobody for see me. Don't send nobody for see me. I was giving him the opportunity to get to know his man name. I said, look, if I want anybody, if I want anybody, I send for them. You don't send nobody for me. So Lord had to quietly walk away. But Lord did an excellent job as he moved up the rank of the Guyana police force. So congratulations to you, Lyndon, and others.
Yeah, all those who are celebrating today, all who celebrated recently, like Jeanette, and those who are celebrating in the near future, all the best to you. I still have to remind you as we go on about the Hurricane Melissa's aid. I saw a clip or a news item recently that CARICOM leaders were in Jamaica, including the president of Guyana. They were in Jamaica there to show solidarity, they say. And I think the GDF um, engineering section will repair 200 roofs in Jamaica. That is what I read. Good gesture. Good gesture. But don't only wait when there's a disaster. Keep the unity going throughout. Keep it going throughout. And and again, shout out to those people who are here, because I see some people indicated they're from Queens. We have people from Queens. We have Brooklyn. We have Bronx. We have all the 5 boroughs, other states in the U.S., Maryland, Florida, Georgia. Yeah, we have Tennessee. We have all over the place people are watching from. And we appreciate you making this effort to look at this program. So we have Melissa. I remind you about daylight saving time. By now, you should get attuned to it. So when I post the notification from now on, I'm not going to keep reminding you about the difference in time between Guyana and the United States, because by now you should have it down pat. And I also want to remind you that this month, November month, is designated Diabetes Awareness Month. So please continue, as we have been imploring you to check your health. Right? Check. You are primarily responsible for that. So if your organization don't have a system where it is mandated that you check, please go have it on your calendar to check at regular times. Yeah, we have Trinidad and Tobago watching in the house as well. I can't forget Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, all those places. I won't ever forget you, and I appreciate your South Carolina in the house. Shelley's from South Carolina. Somebody watching from Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. Oh man, we're all over the globe. Cricket, West Indies played last night against New Zealand in the second ODI. The only bright mark there is Shea Hope, the captain, another 100 in the skid. Our most consistent player, especially in that format. And he has just passed 6,000 runs in ODI in 42 innings. The only body in the West Indies who did it faster than him was the great Sir Vivian Alexander Richards. He did it in 41. Shea did it in 42. So we can understand, right? We can understand. But apart from that, they lost the game. You bat for some 240 something. That is not no runs. The people made the runs in 30 something over 5 wickets long. So we had that. And of course, for the cricket fans, I am looking forward to tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is when the Ashes start. That's a series between Australia and England. It is tomorrow night because they are at Perth in Western Australia, and given the time difference, I think they said 9:30 or something tomorrow night. So I'm looking for that. I'm looking, and yes, I have that to announce to today is designated International Men's Day. International Men's Day. And let me say something about that. Being a man is not only by gender, to say that you have certain features to be a man. It's how you conduct yourself, how you have to conduct yourself as a man. Because we have a lot of people who have the attributes of a man, but they don't have the correct attitude as a man, right? So when you're a man, you have to, one of the things you have to be able to stand up to your responsibilities. Stand up to your responsibilities. When you make a mistake, you must open your chest. Can't lie, Lewis. Open your chest and take the iron ball in your chest. Take the iron ball in your chest. That is, being a man is not just a gender issue, that you get certain gender attributes as a man. You have got to make sure you conduct yourself in a manly fashion, right? So happy International Men's Day to all the men. Happy International Men's Day to all men. Let me bring back CC, and then we're going to move into our first subject, and then we're going to keep going on. CC, I'm sure you want to wish them happy International Men's Day too, and make a comment on the cricket. Go ahead.
Well, the cricket, yes, I'll be watching the Ashes. And West Indies, they're getting closer and closer. The visits aren't too wide, so they're getting closer and closer. And I forget to shout out to Brower. He's in Guyana. I know he based in Ireland, but he's in Guyana, and we met on Tuesday. And he's enjoying his stay in Guyana. We'll be leaving sometime. Um, Happy Men's Day, International Men's Day to all the men. And I was up last night, after midnight doing some research, and baps, I get a text message. I said, who texting me at 3 minutes after midnight? And there it was, a text from my daughter Kimberly wishing me happy Men's Day. I didn't even remember about it. I didn't even know about it. So I started on the right foot after midnight, and then I received a whole set of men's thing came through on the phone. Then. So let me wish all the men happy International Men's Day.
Yeah, happy International Men's Day. And let me congratulate. I see a student here, Paula, saying that she's here for the first time and she's watching from Guyana. Welcome, Paula. Welcome. Hope you're gonna find it fascinating and that you're gonna be here for future classes. And yeah, let me say up front before I forget. When you get old, you just forget what I want to. People compliment me on my memory, but I'll still forget one or two things. I may have misspoken on Monday when we were talking about the extradition case, and people told me that I might have said Glenn Lal when referring to the lawyer who has joined the team. Is Glenn Hanuman, not Glenn Lal. So apologies to Glenn Lal from Kaicho News if I cause you any angst or it caused you any offense or any embarrassment to be mentioned as one of the lawyers representing the Mohammeds. It's Glenn Hanuman is the lawyer represented. So let me get that out early. Now moving on. He said somebody writing it, somebody from Kenya as well, Africa in the house, somebody from Kenya. So yeah. Now we always say that Guyana is not a rape place. We have certain things that to confirm that thing. What I'm talking about here, you would have noted in the notification for the program, I said one of the things we're going to talk about is this parking issue. It reached a certain stage on Monday. Let me show you the video, and then after the video, I'm going to discuss it. I'm going to discuss parking in the city in particular and other places in Guyana. So here we go.
Oh, Gabi. Oh, here's the guy. You're the guy driver?
Yes, I'm the driver.
Why you keep doing this?
Why you keep doing what?
Why you keep parking? We're not
Why you
supposed to
keep
park.
doing this?
Because this is our.
How is
Oh,
this
you record?
yours?
Okay, let us
This is
record.
public parking.
Let us record.
This is a
Okay,
public
let us
parking.
record.
As
Let us
long as you
record.
pay your
This
road
guy
service,
here, this
you're
guy,
free to park anywhere.
let me show his plate
You show
number.
what you like.
This is his plate
You
number.
show what you like.
You say what?
You show what you like. I have a right to park on
No,
the
you
public
don't.
parking.
You don't.
Well,
And this guy,
call the police.
This guy,
Call the
this
police.
guy is here. This guy is here. What is there? This guy, I want to see if you're gonna drive me out. I want to see you
Well,
drive
you
me
can
out.
stand behind there.
Sure. Record. Make sure
You
you
can stand
record.
behind there.
Make sure you record.
You
what
can
you're
choose
doing.
to stand
right
behind
here.
there.
I'm right here.
You
I'm right
can
here.
choose
Record,
to
record.
stand
You're saying
behind there.
that
So you're saying
I'm
you're
going
gonna
to
hit him?
record the show.
Come here.
Oh, you're saying you're
Come
gonna
here.
hit him?
I am
We are
ready
gonna
to
stand
remove
here.
my vehicle
We are going to stand
to
here.
come onto the public road.
No, you are not.
And-
You are parked inside of a private zone.
There is no private
You
zone
are
here.
in a private
This
zone.
is the public
You
parking.
are in a private zone.
This
I don't
is
care.
the
I don't
public
care.
parking.
Let us see if you're gonna
Well,
drive.
you
I
continue-
want to see.
you-
I want to see if
you
you're gonna
continue
drive.
to block my
I will
vehicle.
right here.
You continue
Drive.
to block my vehicle.
Drive. Get inside
You
the car.
continue to block
Get
my
inside the car. Get inside the car and do that.
Touch
Get inside the car
Touch
and do
me.
it. Get inside the car and do it. Get inside the car.
Touch me, man.
Get inside the car.
Touch me.
Get inside the car.
Touch me.
Go ahead.
Touch
Go
me.
ahead. Drive.
Touch
Drive
me.
us out.
Touch me.
Drive us out.
Touch me.
Drive us out. Drive me out.
me, man.
Drive me out. Go ahead.
Touch
Get
me.
inside. Get
Touch
inside.
me.
Get inside and try myself. I want to see it. I want to see it. Let's try your report. Report. Go ahead.
Let the record
Do
show.
it. We are recording.
Let the record
Drive us
show.
out. Kick us out.
This
Go
is
ahead.
my vehicle.
Go ahead. Knock us down.
This is my vehicle.
Knock us down. Knock, we are recording. Knock us down. Knock us down in your shit. Knock us down. Knock us down in your shit. Go on, knock. Knock us down. Knock us down. Knock me down. Knock me down. In your shit. Knock me down. Knock me
I
down.
want you to see.
You overdo the thing too much. You're supposed to ask.
You can't tell me that.
You're supposed to ask.
This
You're
is
supposed
public
to ask.
purpose.
You're not in the public.
This
You're
is
supposed to
public
ask.
purpose.
You're supposed to ask.
You can't stop me. This
You're
is
supposed to
public
come and ask
purpose
for parking.
for as
Don't be
long
relaxed. Go over
for
there.
that's private property.
Don't put him down.
That is private property. For as long
This is beyond what we are.
for as long as the property is clear, I will park in it. For as long as the property is clear, I will park in it. I will park on this and any property that is clear. Any property that is clear, I will park on it.
None of us are going to move for your
will
car.
park on any property that is clear. BRE is private property. You are all foolish. You are foolish. This is private property. This is public property. This is public property. This is public property. This is public property. Wickedness is in there. Wickedness is all around you. This is the wickedness. This is your wickedness. This is your wickedness. You judge. You judge. What kind of Christian are you? Are you judging? I want to move my car. I want to move my car. They are hindering my car. You see them standing behind it? Let us see they are standing behind my car.
We're going to stand.
I will not proceed to the police.
We're not going to move.
I
We're
will
not going to
proceed
move.
to the police.
We're not going to move. We're not moving.
I
We're not
am
moving.
going to the Brickdown police station
Go ahead. Go
and
ahead.
file a
Go ahead.
report.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I am going to Brickdown
Go ahead,
police
go ahead,
station.
we're not moving.
You are afraid to call the
We're not
police?
moving.
I will
We're
call
not
the police.
moving. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I will call the
We're
police.
not going to move. We're not going to
I
move.
will call the police.
We're not
Now
going to
you.
move. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I will call the police.
Go ahead.
Now, there are so many things wrong there. I need to explain certain things to you. So many things wrong. I know yesterday was the 18th of November, and on Monday we told you what occurred on the 18th of November 1978. It was Jonestown Massacre, where people, the cult, people in that cult, People's Temple's cult, some drink poison, some were injected with poison, some were shot and killed. Over 900 people killed themselves. And this is perhaps an indication of that type of attitude. What we saw there, I think this is outside of the former Strand, the Luke Cinema, which is located at Charlotte and Wellington Street it is, right at the corner there. Old time Strand, we know where Strand been. There is some Brazilian church there. And that man who you see there is said to be the Brazilian pastor or one of the pastors. The others that you saw there perhaps are members of the same church. This car, the white car, can't tell the story, went there and parked on the parapet. As you would have seen, the pastor came out, the pastor said, there's private property and you cannot park there. Private property and you can't park there. There's no private property. So apart from the behavior of this so-called pastor and the other people with him, right? They're wrong all over. That is not private property, right? It is not private property. And let me say this. That is why a lot of people don't really, I'm not knocking Christians and the people going to church, but that is a type of behavior that turns people off from going to church for some of these sheep, some of the wolves in sheep clothing, right? These hypocrites, or as Sherlock would say, these hypocrites, right? You know, they just test your faith. Because the driver of the parked car showed a lot of restraint in not backing out into them. I'm not advocating violence, but I know a lot of people, they stand up to prevent the car from coming out, claiming that the car was parked on private property. Now, even if the car was parked on private property, the man came out. Why are you standing to block the car from coming out? When you didn't even make any move to say, well, you're going to go and call the police for them to resolve the matter. You were invited to call the police, but you blocked the car. You know, and again, I say, they just jump up sometime on the right people or the wrong people at some time. What would have happened if the man reversed the car into them? The driver would have been in trouble. So the driver showing the type of restraint is commendable. But these people wrong all over. They're wrong all over. And what is more, I am not xenophobic, but what is more galling is that they are foreigners. At least the one man there. I understand he's a Brazilian, a foreigner, come to Guyana and trying to bully a Guyanese. And then the misguided, the two women, misguided as they are, come out and they pick up the fire rage, as you would say. Pick up the fire rage. You got to get permission to park here. Now let me address this parking issue because it is a big concern in Georgetown in particular. A big concern. There can be no exclusive and private parking on public space. Let me repeat that for emphasis. There can be no exclusive or private or reserved parking on public place. So the road shoulders, in front of stores, you got no private parking and reserved parking. That is an issue I dealt with years ago when I was a traffic chief. I remember having a meeting with the mayor and city council. I think the mayor then was Mr. Jordan, and one of the councillors, Llewellyn John. We had the discussion. And I explained to them what was the law. You can't have private and thing all around Georgetown. The businesses, you see they put big barrier, signs, cones, reserve, don't park here. All of those things are illegal. All of those things are illegal. They are illegal. And when I was the traffic chief, I used to have the police vehicle go and pick up all of those things and remove them from there. You can't, because what happens? They go to work. If they're working at a bank, if they're working in a store, some of them go with vehicle, the owners and others, they park in the only one or two parking place they have there. And so therefore their customers and things, I got nowhere to park. I have nowhere to park. Your parking place, if it's a bank or if it's a business, is within the confines of your compound, not on the public road. The only thing you have exclusive access to, you should have, is ingress or egress. So the passageway to allow you to go in and to come out, that should not be blocked. But you can, they come and they put reserved parking, private parking, something, well, some of them take the time to make what looks like decent signs, right? But many of them, they put up some old barrier or something there. And they put and they're bullying you that you can't park. But let me tell you all this, as I've said before, there is no, you can't have exclusive right to parking on the public road, whether it's a shoulder of the road, and not only in Georgetown, while it might be prevalent in Georgetown, it happens elsewhere. It happens elsewhere. When I was in the police force, not only in traffic, and even after I retired, I driving around, I used to go and park. They come and say, sir, you can't park there. So why? It is reserved. I said, well, yes, it is reserved for me. So I'm parking right here. It is reserved for me. I am parking here. I got to put a stop to this thing. I saw the mayor came out with a statement following that altercation we showed there, where the people from the town council went and removed those barriers. But it should not be confined to there alone. All over the place. And it has to do with permission being given for people to build hotels and establish all type of businesses, and no provisions are made for off-street parking, none. So you get big building go up, and even when a big building, big hotels in the middle of the city, and they ain't got no proper arrangement for customers and employees and owners to park off the streets. So they're parking on the street, and as we have seen there, what they do more than that, they want to reserve the place in front of them for their own personal private use. and the use of the customers. Wrong. It is wrong all over. And I would hope that the mayor and city council and all of those people will look at it. Will look at it. You come and you tell you can't park here, and I say, why so Garland, these are foreigners telling the Guyanese he can't park here. I remember some years ago I went to a funeral in the church in Brickdam, Smith's Church, up by I think is by Cumming Street somewhere there. Opposite the church is the Mexican embassy. And there was a parking on the carpet. I went there to park, and somebody came and told me I can't park there. I said, why? He said, well, that is reserved for Mexico. I said, what? I said, your boundary ends at the drain. Your boundary ends at the drain. And you can't come and tell me a Guyanese he can't park on the public area. And I park. Right? So let me sorry say, well, the pastor has been disqualified from preaching. I hope so. Somebody is saying that the pastor has been disqualified from preaching. Let's understand this. This thing has been going on for far too long. And anyone who travels around Georgetown can see, especially if you're a driver, you can't get place to park in most places. Why? Because apart from the vendors taking up things, they all over is private parking, reserved parking, and they put up all kind of things to impede you from parking on the public place. They impede you from parking. And I'm not advocating for people to go and to cause any problem, but I'm saying that the authorities should look into it. When I was a traffic chief, I used to cause those things to be removed. And I had interaction with the mayor and at least one councillor in respect to the same issue. Can't. Right. So they as I said, ingress and egress, that is what they're entitled to do. You drive around Regent Street now. Drive around Raff Street. That's what you have. They tell you about no parking and all them type of thing on public road. Reserved parking and all sort of thing. And many of these things are not by the police. I had to let the city council know that even them don't have the authority to convert public space just into private parking. I have had cause to let them know that when I was there as the traffic chief, and I quoted the law on them. This is not just talking, check the law. And I said, I'm happy to note that matter ended without any physical confrontation, apart from the pastor rushing up and thing. Blows didn't share. Blows did not share at that thing. But some other person, the next thing you know, one of the first thing might have been reverse the vehicle on them. Got us standing up behind the man vehicle, preventing him from leaving. The first thing they did, when the car was there, they brought a car and parked it behind, so he couldn't move. When they moved the car that was parked behind, they stand up behind the man car and dare to reverse. Help, body by. Well, body by. Some people would have reversed indeed. And then I know the cutlass reached there. I don't know the cutlass, if it's their cutlass or somebody else's cutlass. Reached there. So somebody was contemplating violence. We are in a serious situation. All because of the breakdown in law and order. Breakdown. For them to come build a church, nothing wrong with build a church. You got your church, you got your followers, but you converted the public area into is private property. Yeah, that is what you're doing. That's what you're doing. Let me bring in Mr. Conway to comment on that, and then we're gonna move on. Yes, CC, go ahead.
I watched the video several times, different angles. Total lawlessness. And I must commend the driver of that vehicle, Kidaki Amsterdam, I got calling him for the amount of restraint that he displayed there. And then we look at the behavior. Behavior might be a mild word of the pastor. Looking at his eyes, I study body language, I study kinesis. And when you look at the kinesis there, the eyes look like evil eyes. And then he get followers, perhaps followers like Jonestown. They drank the Kool-Aid. But it's total lawlessness going on, not only there, as you mentioned, Paul, other places. People just putting cones, putting barriers, chain up the place, and say you can't park. This is private property. It is not private property. It is not private property for everybody doing their own thing. And what I saw there is good thing Kidaki exercise a whole lot of tolerance. And then all of a sudden, a cutlass appear. A cutlass appear on the ground there. You know, the more you look at that thing there, the more you are alarmed with the amount of lawlessness taking place. And then watch where it taking place? In front of a church building. In front of a church building. And the pastor get his followers, perhaps who can follow him to hell. You know, but it's high time that action is taken to correct this sad state of affairs that is going on now. Maybe this could be the catalyst. Clean up the place. Move out all them things that I put there. Carry them and dump them somewhere. Move them out after one, and if they're not moving them, get rid of them. Clear up the damn place. I hope that, and I'm happy that the city council came into play. Happy that the city council came into play. And then they look like they, apart from traffic offense, they look like they have issues relation to threatening behavior and all kind of thing. But the police won't get involved. They're going to say, Kidaki forgot the station itself and make a report, despite all that we saw on the video. They're going to say, Kidaki forgot there. And if he ain't go and make any report, nothing will happen. But I passed there yesterday, and the place appeared to be normal. I saw a minibus there, I saw all kind of thing there, and thing. It appeared to be that. And now persons who are not connected with the church were parking there, So let's hope that better judgment prevail, and let's hope that, people would behave in a civilized manner, and let God be in charge.
Yeah, civilized manner. Certainly that behavior from that pastor couldn't be described as civilized. But let me say this is a good thing. You say it's Kedaki, and he restrained himself. Because it's Kedaki Amsterdam, if he had done anything aggressive, the police would have locked him up. Because he's one of them that, like me, who they like charge. He would have get locked up. So I'm happy that he restrained himself, and the matter seems to have been resolved without any resort to violence. I'm happy because people are saying on this chat that it's the pastor who brought out the cutlass, as they say, not cutlass or machete. So we say cutlass. There's a country, call them in the country cutlass. Right? They would have locked up Kedaki. So I'm glad he didn't even go to make a report to the station. I don't think he did. But because they would have come, the pastor would have tell a story, and then you see the followers there would have support the pastor, and the police without any investigation were likely, I said they would have done it, but they were then likely to detain him for a while before they release him. So I'm glad it ended up that way. But it's a lesson to be learned. And I'm hopeful that the city council, this will not be a one-off where they just went there and remove those things. They will make it clear, not only to the church and the pastors, but all them business places and hotels and all other things that they string up around the place. And they do the same thing. They put up barriers so you can't park there. Some of them even got security guard, armed security guard, to tell you that you can't park. Armed security guards. That is what they have. So, folks, we're in a sad place. We're in a sad place, but we have to stand up for our rights. Not break the law, but stand up for your rights. And that is why I want to compliment Mr. Thompson for standing up. You got to know your right first. And that is why you encourage you to come on this program, and we try to tell you about some of your rights. So you know your rights and stand for your rights. Right? Don't let people come and bully you. Don't let people come and bully you. Talking about bullying, I almost forget. I saw an article in one of the dailies, I think it was yesterday, where a 6-year-old child somewhere crossed the river, as you would say. Right? Either West Demerara, East Bank, Essequibo, somewhere there. He was bullied. They claimed he was bullied. A 6-year-old bullied, and he had his tongue cut. Say how many stitches and so on. They carry the story. But what disturbed me, folks, is that this 6-year-old child photographed in the paper with no attempt to blur his image. Let me repeat that. A 6-year-old is bullied and injured. I don't know, they say by another pupil or whatever. He's 6 years old. He got a big cut across his tongue. They have him there, put his tongue out. They take out picture of the tongue and his face and put it on in the media. Oh my Lord, what have we come to in this country? They made no attempt to blur the image of that 6-year-old child. They put it out just like that. And one wonders what we have come to in this country. Wait, common sense and tell you that you can't put a 6-year-old victim picture like that in the newspaper. Even if you throw the tongue, blur the image, blur the face. But no, they didn't do that. I was shocked. Let me tell you something. Little shocked me in this country. But when I saw that yesterday, I said, my Lord, that's the first thing that came to mind. How can they be putting the photograph of this 6-year-old child in the newspaper? How can they be doing that? What happened to the editors? What happened to these people? Then see and realize that would be totally inappropriate. But that is the level to which we have sunk. That is the level to which we have sunk in this country. Right? Called Guyana, which is not a real place. So perhaps because it is not a real place, that can be done. And nobody's going to tell them anything, or even if they tell them anything, they themselves would not come out and offer a public apology. Right? They're not going to offer a public apology and say, well, it was a mistake or something like that. And whoever caused it to be put there, may be some internal mechanism to ensure that that person is dealt with and that it doesn't happen again. That is what we have in the place. That is what we have. Let me bring in CC to comment on that, because when we talk about bullying, I had it noted, but I don't think I would have remembered. So let me talk about it one time. Go ahead, CC.
Yeah, I saw it, and I agree with you. No attempt made to blur it. And not only that, they must like they hide it away in the papers, Front page. If my memory is right, front page there. You have to protect the people. The youth, 6 years old. And he's starring front page in the papers. That is, that should have never happened. I hope that maybe they come up with some kind of apology, But then bullying, perhaps it's a big thing, And we heard a lot about bullying on that West Demerara, A lot of bullying. We heard plenty incidents of bullying across that river there. Maybe they need to look at it. Too many instances of bullying at the schools across West Demerara. Maybe the education officer or somebody there should get involved at the base level and work the way up.
Yeah, it's something is definitely wrong. Not only West Demerara, all over the place, this thing is happening. You see things in the people, bullying on the East Coast. I remember a youth was bullied and he died. Somebody choked and he died. All sorts of things. But the picture, to have plastered that child's image in the newspaper. It is totally wrong, totally unacceptable, totally unacceptable. Now let me move on to one of the issues that I mentioned in the notification yesterday. I have noted with interest the government's sudden concern, I should say, about the well-being of the people living in Tiger Bay. For those of people who don't know, Tiger Bay is an area in Georgetown, one of the depressed areas, in what we call a prime commercial area, Tiger Bay. If me the country by, but think it's bordered on the east by Main Street, on the west by Water Street, on the north I think there's Oak Street, just after New Thriving, and on the south I think there is Kwamina Street, used to be Murray Street. I think I don't know the extension there is Kwamina as well. That is Tiger Bay in the art of the well not the art in a prime commercial area. And we saw over the weekend President and his team, they went there into Tiger Bay, 00 knot, bond, license to lick. Batty was there with them. They played domino, and you will see the president carrying on and carry on and carry on. They get a big karahi, cook up and all him everything. That is it. They believe once you come to a certain ethnic group, little food and so on, that is what can get them. So they went there, and well, I think Rosemary Lane is what? Rosemary Lane is this one. Rosemary Lane, I think, is the one that runs north to south. In between, I'm not sure. I'm not a tongue man. But I think Rosemary Lane runs from north to south. In the middle there, from north to south. I'm not sure. So they went there, and as I've said, they have shown a renewed interest. I must say renewed interest in Tiger Bay. I say renewed because some time ago, years ago, they went there, and some of those people were relocated. They wanted to have all them removed, and they were relocated. I think some of them were sent somewhere across the river or something like that, right? Hold on, somebody tell me you got an intruder. Who is the intruder? Let me see if I can find the intruder. And when Mr. Conway comes in, I'm going to look to find the intruder. And, we're going to deal, if he wants to learn, we welcome him to learn. But if he don't want to learn, then we got to tell him, say, go where your time will be best spent. Yeah. So a renewed interest because they went there years ago. And some of them moved. Some of the people from Tiger Bay were relocated, and the others remain. And I have a sneaking suspicion that this renewed interest has nothing to do with the welfare of those people who live there. It is my view that the reason why they went there is because they want to relocate those persons. They didn't get to relocate them the last time. They want to relocate them now. Right? And I suspect that because of the blowback with the way they treated with the people from Mocha, then they decide to use a softer approach this time. Go cook up rice, play a little domino, maybe a little sweet drink, serve and thing, and they come and big them up on the thing there, on the propaganda arm, and they decide, well, this is a better approach this time. But the aim, I believe, is still the same. To get the land for their friends, families, and favorites. And we shall see. Let's continue to look, and we shall see. I believe there is a motive. When I analyze these things, because I'm trained to do that. When I analyze. Because remember the same Tiger Bay area, when Larry Lewis was commissioner of police, I don't remember them things, When Larry Lewis was commissioner of police, Larry Lewis had a program for the children of Rosemary Lane. The children, police, Larry Lewis decided that he's going to take over that area, right? Where the children used to come to police headquarters, the police sports club. I can't remember how frequent, but they did all type of things. They did art, they did school, remedial schoolwork, all kind of things. Larry Leland Lewis, commissioner of police, did that. And it was very successful. I can't remember when it stopped, why it stopped. But I recall all at Christmas time, those children used to have concerts at the police sports club and all of that. And it built a very good relationship with the people in that area. I can tell you that. I can tell you that. So they come now, the government come out, and the government decide that Rosemary Lane, we going in there. Perhaps that's one of the visions that the president get overnight. And they moved down in Rosemary Lane to Karayi, I think, with cook up rice and the storing, photo opportunity. But look beyond that. Look beyond that. I believe the aim is more sinister. Has nothing to do with the welfare of those people there. Because somebody remarked to me, and this is not being racist, somebody remarked to me that, look, they don't know, when they look at the pictures, they didn't realize that many East Indian people live in the area. Like I had a lot of East Indian people. They live there. They brought them there for photo opportunity. They live there. They brought them there as part of the photo opportunity. Right? So I just read them through, you know. Well, look at the crystal ball. The crystal ball has tell me a lot of things. And I believe that is what the ultimate aim is to relocate them, treat them nice. Because we don't want to do what we did at Mocha, where we're going to bulldoze people, kill the cattle, damage the stocks and things. We don't want to. So let's adopt a softer approach. Let's go fed them with little cook-up rice. Around Christmas time, you're going to go in there and they give them some ample and all them everything. And then eventually you're going to try to get them to move from there so that the property there, primary real estate can go to friends, family, and favorite. Let me bring in CC for him to give his view on this Rosemary Lane thing, the Tiger Bay story. TC, what do you think, man? Go ahead.
I like how you're changing your mood from Rosemary Lane to Tiger Bay. Morambo Larilus, we were all part of it. And you could never, you get as rot if you say Tiger Bay. You say Rosemary Lane children, his children, Rosemary Lane children. They established youth clubs there every Sunday. They're the police sports club if they're yes, they had their own concert at Christmas time there, you know. And because of the interaction with the people, the children there, crime in Rosemary Lane plummeted to almost zero. Even some of them a couple of them became members of the Guyana Police Force, where we took some as apprentices. But coming back to the sinister plan, the government, the intention is to get them out of the place there. And and he asks who owns the land? That is prime land. Prime land. Almost certain they're looking for land for the friends, the family, the favorites, the flatterers, the effing up. The effing up. Friends, family, flatterers. I'm certain that you're going to hear this body had owned the land, and the land belongs to X and Y. And I'm certain that the government has this intention to put their own people there. To put their own people there. They didn't do like what they did at Moko. They try a softer attempt to deal with it. But I hope that it is not about going in there, cook up, playing little domino, stamping down and say, take this in your backside. And them thing, get prayer and lifting up the just little children about the place there, you know. And there's it, exposing little children, you know, to the media. Children who are not properly dressed. They started on the wrong foot. And, you know, But the whole idea is to get the friends, the cronies, and then people involved with land because that is prime spot. And Tiger Bay being long, I always remember the mighty sparrow. We used to say that he don't care if the whole of BG burn down. So they're gonna put you out of place if they only tackle Tiger Bay and burn down the place where you Wabians will stay. I remember the Calypso song. So Tiger Bay has been into focus for a very long time. But I think the approach for the government is a little too secretive. And I don't think that they have good intentions. Hope that I am wrong.
Yeah, I hope I wrong to what the crystal ball tell me. They're gonna move them from there, and then the next friends, family, or favorite get the land because it's prime real estate, and it is one of the depressed areas. As you said, when Larry Lewis went in there and formed the Rosemary Lane Children Group and so on, we were able to analyze and see crime fell, and they had a very good relationship because the parents used to come to the police post up there too with their children and so on, and it was a good thing. Tiger Bay is a place where with a bad name. Always had a bad name. I had an experience there. Let me tell you all about it. I used to be stationed at the time of the TSU, and where Coates is now, Geddes Grant used to be there. And one day I passing in that thing, the street that runs north to south, just east of Main Street. I parked there to go and do business. When I come back, the radio for my car was gone. The radio for my car was gone. And some men were loading a truck, and I used some police tactics. And then one of the men was taken to Brigham, and then he identified, he described the person who we saw going into the car. And for the time he described, I remember Gilhouse and them by being at CID. For the time he said, oh, it's market goat. Oh, it's market goat. We can take care of it. I went back there like about half an hour after from Brigham to the place. And there's a guy used to be there. They used to call you, I think, Big Man. Can't remember the right name now. Big Man used to be a regular he was a regular in the area. Big Man came to me, and Big Man said, boss man, whose car is this? I was in uniform. I said, my car. He said, oh God, man, it's you car, the damn thing. He said, hold on, I'm coming back just now. And within 5 minutes, the man returned with a parcel with my car radio inside. And he tell me, I said, well, who moved? He said, I can't tell you that, man. They get back the car, they get back the thing and so on. Apologies. Them little boy, people. And he tell me, I have to go with the car. I get back my radio, put it back in the car. A few months after, I went into, that is Kwamina Street. They had a place there, I think, what was the name? Humphreys or something like that. Used to sell fittings and so on. I went there to buy something. When I looked outside, I saw a man bracing by the car. And I came out with a speed. Who was it? Market goat. Bracing the car. He said, Skipper, don't worry. I watching this car, I taking care. I making sure that nothing can happen to this car because I don't want to be blamed. And so Market goat, the same man who stole the radio out of the car 2 months or 3 months sometime after. He did under the car. He watched man in the car for me. He watched man in the car. That's the type of relationship. Home Street, yes. Home Street, yes. Thank you, Jillian. I think I end up giving a raise, I give a top up. I say, good man, good. After that, I could have gone park anyway in the area. So it had that type of reputation. Tiger Bay had that type of reputation. But I could tell you that Larry Lewis, as commissioner, was able to go in there and put in a program for those children. And we saw positive results. Right? Now, in the same line, keeping in the same line, I know many of you observe it, right? I don't know many of you observed that, but I noted, and I believe there's a similar design for the acquisition of lands as it relates to the new breakdown structure. Listen to me carefully. When I looked in the ball tells me a lot of things. You know, we had this disastrous fire at Breakdown Police Station some years ago, 2-3 years ago, right? They said some prisoner with a sponge, lighter, and a wire started the fire, and he burned the whole place down. The next day, that happened the Saturday, the very next morning, they said the president himself, he was leaving to go somewhere, he stopped there. He said they talk about overseas intellectual authors, and that they are going to get foreign assistance to get to the bottom of it. And while he talking about that, every machinery came in to clear the debris. I said, well, what kind of nonsense is this? I made a post on it. You talking about investigating the cause or the source of this fire, and then you're clearing the debris. I even made a joke about the same song that I would normally play, King Liar, the last verse, where he says, don't show me the man might tailor his class, just show me the corner where the fella passed and he can make a suit. I said, maybe it's somebody with skills like that. You're going to show them the debris or anything, they're going to come and they're going to solve this issue. Then we learned shortly after that they are putting up a 12-story building where the breakdown compound was located. 12-story. It's there going up now. I don't know how far along it is going up there now. And I tell people since then, I said, you replacing the burnt-out breakdown police station with a massive 12-story structure? Nah, there's more to it than that. And then I've been thinking, and then I look at the ball. When that building there is completed, I have a strong belief, and that is what the ball is telling me, that many of the offices that are located in Eve Leary, another prime area for real estate, Eve Leary, Kingston, police headquarters, and all the buildings there. I can see them removing places like the Immigration and Passport Office. I can see them removing things like the Soku headquarters there, because they are adjoining buildings to the same 12-story building, and then look to see what will happen to the land on which those buildings are now located. Look, you got to look deep, you know, these people, that is their thinking. That is how they think. So yeah, you're going to build this nice breakdown 12-story building, and then what's going to happen? You're going to move, because let me face facts. That building is too big for the traditional activities of breakdown police station, traffic, CID, administration, too big. 12 stories. So they are going to relocate. They are going to relocate places from Eve Leary to that same building. That is what I am saying. That is what I believe they're going to relocate. And once those offices are relocated, look to see what's going to happen to the land, prime real estate again, on which they are located. Because remember, we all might not know, but the whole area, the prime real estate, from the seawall on the north, you have Camp Road on the east, right down to Cowan Street to the south. Then you go all the way to Parade Street on the west. All this police private property, police property, you know, all that is police property, all that. And for the longest while, they have had eyes on that because they believe it's prime real estate, and they can relocate. They can relocate. So let me see what is going to happen. That is private property. Do you know? Let me give you so let me tell you all something y'all might know. The older policemen might know. Parade Street from Camp Road to Barrack Street, from Camp Road, not Barrack Street rather. Barrack Street from Camp Road all the way to Parade Street. You know there's private road, there's a private piece of road, Military Road, Young Street, all those places. Yeah. All those private property. The next one that is private is what do you call it? Just east of the commissioner's office there, running Rabbit Walk, running from Young Street all the way to the seawall. Private property, private road. Long ago, they used to close it, Barrack Street, at least once a year to establish the privacy of that thing. Them people get eyes on all them things. They get eyes on it. And having eyes on it by itself is not the issue. But when they, yeah, you might need to consolidate, you might need to move, bring things together. I got no big problem with that. But look to see who will then acquire the land. Remember National Service Ground? Out of the blue, some people from the Middle East come and they're building hotel in the National Service Ground. That controversy as to who owned the ground, whether it's the mayor and city council, big thing. I know there's reserve. You remember now you get Farnham playing field. Farnham playing field, big controversy there, where they say this school are building some temporary arrangement. Temporary? That temporary arrangement reminds me of the police officers' mess annex, right? Where it is there now, the fancy place for the air conditioning and so on. That was to be a temporary thing too. That was to be something temporary. Larry Lewis. Because prior to then, you had, when you had any big activity like Ole's night and so on, you used to put up a big tent, big shed, big tent out there between the officer mess building and the building to the west. You used to put up a big tent. And then one Ole's night, you had a lot of rain, and the tent collapsed. But Desmond Knight was president, he had just left, or he was collapsed. And then Larry Lewis decided he can put up a temporary shed. Build a temporary shed, zinc sheet and thing, build. It's still there down there and it's expanding all the time. So when you hear the talk about these temporary things, you have to view it with a lot of suspicion. You view it with a lot of suspicion. But I believe they have eyes on Tiger Bay area. They also have eyes on part of Ivleary. Right? They have ties. And again, I say, before I begin CC, the fact they're building a 12-story building where the Breakdown police compound was is an indication to me that they intend to move a lot of offices from Ivleary area. And I can look and I can see the Immigration and Passport Office. Because Immigration and Passport Office in the late 70s used to be located at Breakdown. In the same area where the compound was. I see them going back there. I can see Soku occupying a flat there or something like that. We shall see. Let me wait and see. See? Your take, my brother.
Well, I agree with you, but I am a training man. And I see training prime spot there. And then I saw documentation that somewhere at Dura, they're setting up a training school at Dora. I don't want to call it academy because I didn't know academy. Let me think training school. At Dora, they already started a lot of work there. A lot of work there. So don't be surprised that prime spot also will go to the family, the friends, the cronies, the whoever. Watch out. Watch out. Well, I know they never left the burial ground there because I think there's a Commonwealth burial ground. But the other parts, I'm certain, will go as prime business places.
Well, let me tell you about that same Dora arrangement. I had an involvement in there, and I think it will be dishonest of me not to explain because there's long now, you know. When I was there looking into the reform part of the IDB program with the reform, we had said that we should remove the training facility from Ivleary, the old training school complex there, to a place on the highway. Right? We had said so. And we got in, I think it was Lands and Survey. We got involved in Lands and Survey, and we identified, I think it was 2 spots, including that same spot at Dora. I ain't gonna call the name, but people who normally look at this program were part of that project with me. We identified the place, and we were to then move towards putting it there. So this officer training complex and all of those things wasn't built yet. And we had said all of those things were to go on the highway because we made out what I felt was a compelling argument. In Georgetown, too many distractions and all of that. You know, they complain now, people just get away, the shot, as we say, and we say, you put it out there, right? Yeah, lad, I'm glad you mentioned it because I know that you were a person. You see, Graham saying he was a part. Selena, all the way. I remember the thing well, because Lado was the man going to do the slight plan. And yes, I know, I didn't want to call him name, but now that you mention it, I can mention your name. We were all involved in that. But all of a sudden, that thing was shelved. That thing was shelved. And now to see, well, maybe they're now resuscitating that. But that was the idea then, that the training should be removed, because we had a big plan with playing field, drill square, a dormitory. We had even gone so far to say the facility will be built in such a way that corporations can have outreaches and all them type of thing in the area. We were to, all of that, it was a comprehensive plan. But then, we don't know what happened. So now they're coming back, CC. I'm going to make the point that is not, maybe it's not the original idea. It was there before, but they shelved it, and now they must be bringing it back again. But when they bring it back, now they're going to bring it back with a lot of, they're going to be a lot of haste to bring it back, because if you remove the old training school from where it is now and put it on the highway, oh God, there's prime beachfront or oceanfront estate for the friends, family, and favorite. Fine. So let me understand, let me understand. Don't look at them like that. Don't look at them. They're thinking, always get some type of shenanigans and that sort of thing behind it. Then I think when you see they do something, it's not because it is what is best for the citizens, what is best for the country. Right? What is best for friends, family, and favorite. They're going to come and they're going to put it, they're going to sugarcoat it, and they're going to tell you all sort of things. Right? But watch it. Watch it. So, CC, I don't know if you want to make a comment on that, and then we're going to move on to another issue. Do you want to?
I agree with you, but let's move on. Let's move on.
In moving on, they got a couple of things we got to remind up first before we go into the day. Yeah, share the live. Share the live. We just crossed 2,000 likes, but share. Right? Right? Yeah. We have designed, Lado saying that we have designed, we have done a lot of work. We have done a lot of work for that complex, what we call it the training complex. Now, I learned, I got to laugh here, Remember in July, I think it was the 31st of July or somewhere around then, President went to Eve Leary, where they sent for all them police that were going to get promotion and that sort of thing. Presidency had a vision, and they're going to promote people once they get certain service, they want to get a certain rank, they go on all sort of thing. The president made them announcement. Unconstitutional, because you ain't got no authority in the Constitution or anywhere else to make promotions. But he got there, he didn't care, right? And then we have, shortly after now, the police administration, oh God, promotion fly. They say how much 1,000 people get promoted. Even the observer mission, Carter Center, I think, commented on that. Enough promotions. They promote their people. The more people who had left the job. It was confusion. It was confusion, right? I understand that a place like the band room now gets 17 sergeants at the band room. So you don't get nothing with, who is this shit? You ain't got nothing like spanner control. There is nothing like spanner control and all them thing them now. Nothing like spanner control. Now I saw a report or a message recently. A rank who was a female rank, who was promoted to sergeant, from constable to sergeant on the 1st of August this year. The rank is now told that was a mistake. The intention was to promote her to corporal, and they mistakenly promoted her to sergeant. So she should go to the quartermaster store, take back the sergeant stripe, and collect she's corporal stripe. Because she's a corporal, she's not a sergeant. After all these months, August, September, October, we know into November, the sergeant is now told to carry back your stripe, your 3 stripe, and collect your right stripe, which is a 2 stripe. Well, what if I didn't carry back nothing, and I didn't wear in the 3 stripe? They might not pay me for it. And then the legal issue, the question of whether you're going to go to court or not would have come into play. But I did not carry back any stripe. You promoted me to sergeant from constable. And now you're telling me after all these months, you make a mistake. Well, I got a benefit from your mistake. You can't embarrass me to such a point now you're going to tell me carry back the 3 stripe and collect a 2 stripe. I was not taking it back, and I would have continued wearing my 3 stripes. And if you did not pay me for this 3 stripe, we would have ended up the code step. We gotta, this incompetence is too much, man. Too much. Now they want to embarrass that woman who they promoted to sergeant from constable. And now you're going to tell me after all these months that you make a mistake, carry back the 3, go to the quartermaster store and return the, well, I think I tell you return, but collect your correct badge rank, which is 2 stripe. I didn't doing that. I was not doing that. And if you didn't pay me as a sergeant, I would have consulted with an attorney, and we're going to find myself up the code step. It is unfair to people like that. If you make a mistake, the rank should, you can't cause the rank to be punished and embarrassed by your mistake. I didn't carry back nothing. CC, well, what would you have done? Let me bring in CC. What would you have done?
I didn't carry him back. No, I for the matter, when I pass by the quartermaster store, I go make a eyes right or eyes left. I ain't enter. I ain't enter in the compound at all. But it's what you can't find words to describe it. Yeah? But there's it when the president say you're going to promote up 2,800 people. All these things we expect to happen. People who left the work get promoted and all kind of thing. And I'm surprised. Well, I know if they paid her as a sergeant, I won't be surprised if we can tell you you got to pay back the money that we pay you as a sergeant. The difference between sergeants and corporal. You know, you want to know what really going on in the police force, and it's a way you make them kind of promotion. You know, well, it was a seagull arrangement. You know, they come and they do all sort of nonsense, and it wasn't no vision the president had. You know. Paul, you mentioned before, what was a nightmare he had? Wake up with a nightmare, and he flew into Ivlery and said, "Oh, we're going to promote people. You support me." Azal was for vote, you know. You support me, and I support you, and you support me. All was in the effort of getting votes. Imagine promotions work with establishment, and you just come and say 2,800 people. Where you running? You don't even run a cake shop that way. But they go along with it, and they getting backlash. And only one backlash in terms of the performance. The sergeants can't perform. The inspectors who the police service commission that was cremated, promoted, you get a lot of incompetence. They resurrected Dr. Peter Principle, promoted incompetence. So for me, Paul, come back to the question, I didn't gain no belief, no stripe. When I pass there, I's right, I's left, and I got my way. And if they humbug me, again straight to the court.
I'm talking to myself for a while here. Sorry. I'm saying, unlike CC, I didn't look in right or left. I did go in, eyes front. I look straight to the front as a farmer instructor. But if you recall, as I was saying, what happened is that when this thing happened, the promotion, you recall, all them went there to thing and they praise up the president, thank Mr. President, and they did all over social media. Propaganda. They were all over social media. So now I'm sure that may have influenced many of them to vote for the president. So now, give me back my stripe. They tell me one thing, give me back my stripe. Yeah, folks, sorry about the no song. I had it on mute. And then I unmuted already, so I'm sure that you can hear me now. So, you have to laugh some of them. You say, take that for your fastness. Take that for your fastness. You run, you want promotion, which many of them did not deserve, and that is what happened. People say, give me back my stripe. We make a mistake then in giving you 3 stripes. Right? People telling me no song. We still have no songs. I have unmuted. All right, good. Yeah, the people say, yeah, we can't. So that is the story there with the me didn't give him back none. I didn't give him back none. Right? And I have an update. Now on this demonic pastor. The demonic pastor. Breaking news from Demerara Waves. It says the Brazilian headquartered Universal Church on Wednesday said it fired the pastor who banged and blocked a car from leaving outside the church on Charlotte and Wellington Street, Georgetown. At the same time, the vociferous and enraged pastor insisted that outside the building, formerly Strand Cinema, was private property and no parking was allowed there. City Mayor Alfred Mentor had already said that no application was made and no permission was ever granted for the church to use the area for parking. Following is the full text of the statement by Pastor Dilip Chan Bikandi, President of Universal Church of the Kingdom of God in Guyana. The Board of Universal Church of Guyana, Kingdom of God, wishes to apologize to the general public for the unbecoming behavior of one of its pastors and several members of its congregation. The behavior displayed is not in alignment with the church's values and principles, and such misconduct and recalcitrant behavior will not be condoned. The church's board has met, and after extensive deliberation in reviewing its internal policies and acceptable conduct pertaining to both pastors, assistant pastors, and members of his congregation, have decided to relieve the recalcitrant pastor of his position. The pastor is no longer associated with the board of the Universal Church of the Kingdom of God in Guyana. We have released a video in which the president of the Universal Church in Guyana has apologized to the nation for the pastor's misconduct. The board of the church could not ultimately make a decision on disciplinary action against the could not unilaterally, Let me read it back. The board of the church could not unilaterally make a decision on disciplinary action against the pastor. Decision had to await the meeting of the board once again. Once again, we wish to apologize to the President of Guyana, Dr. Irfan Ali, the Prime Minister, Honorable Mark Phillips, the Vice President, Dr. Bharat Jagdeo, all members of the Cabinet, members of Parliament, fellow religious leaders, and the Guyanese for such misconduct they done there. So they fired the priest. So you see, even you have to forgive me. Even in the church, some things you don't forgive. You know, even in the church, the Universal Church of God, even some things you don't accept mea culpa. So they fire. He should have been in front of the damn court. They fire, right? He has been fired. So people still telling me no song. So I don't know what is going on there. Some people, okay, at my end, the song is on. So maybe some people say loud and clear. So let me continue. Yeah, they tell you about forgiveness and you could repent and all of that. Not for that church and the pastor, at least not on this occasion. Go your way in peace. Go and sin no more. That is what I said. So I had to bring in that cat. It just broke there on the social media. See?
But they didn't apologize to Kidaki. No apologies to Kidaki, but to the president and everybody, nothing to Kidaki. Anyway, if there is it, there is it.
Well, there's a Guyanese, so the politicians are all Guyanese, but they single out the president, the prime minister, the vice president. They single out them to apologize to them, and then they say all Guyanese. So Kidaki is a Guyanese, so he's included in that. He's included in that. You think this thing easy, buddy? You think it's easy? Now let me move on. There's a matter that escaped us for a couple of episodes, and that is Essequibo Coast. Essequibo Coast. Let me give them a chance to listen. We know there's listen. It is reported that the police officer, I get your name, I get your rank. I'm going to call your name and rank now. We'll let it come out and dispute it, and I'm going to reveal everything. A few Saturdays ago, the man went to a bar in Anna Regina, right? Jai Gobin's bar. Let me call up Jai Gobin's bar at Anna Regina. Became pissing drunk. That's a police officer. When I say officer, I mean gazetted officer, junior gazetted officer. Pissing drunk. Started to brandish a pistol. The security guards who were there overpowered him and took away the pistol. Right? Took away the pistol from him. And then the owner, we understand, recognized that he's a police officer, and then they give back the gun and send him on his way. A police officer drunk like a fish in a public place, brandishing a pistol. The guards, the private guards, have to subdue him and take away the pistol. And what happened? Cover up. Nothing you're hearing about that anymore. Cover up. We had another incident as recent as last week, where an officer, let me frame it properly. A man alleged that he went to apply for a firearm, went to a senior man to get a firearm license. And the man tell you, hey, $2 million for this license. We heard the rumor about the price, man. So I wasn't surprised about it. About $2 million, I ain't gonna get the license. The man left and he went away. I understand that the man was so disturbed that the man decided to contact his political contacts. He get political contact. People, he has contact with people in the ruling party, the PPP party. He contacted them and he told them about his experience where this man want $2 million for him to get a gun license. And we had to say, all right, they will set a trap. And a trap was set. And the man called the senior officer and said, hey, I'll get the money. Come for it. He ain't go. He sent another officer, sent a junior officer to collect this $2 million. And I understand that when the officer went there to collect the $2 million, the officer took the approval for the firearm license. And the old man and the junior officer, with the two, when the money hand over and thing, he was held. I know if he was held by police or if he was held by the party, who only, but he was held. And I tell you nothing more about that. Or nothing more because they never said anything about it. They never said anything about that. And it's recent, as last week. So when Gail Teixeira and the new minister talk about corruption and so on, it has continued. We had warned them about the run-ins, as we would call it, in relation to firearm license, in relation to driver's license. It has continued. So despite all them statements that's run out, and it is making the media, all the photo opportunities about stamping down on corruption and so on, it's just talk. It's just talk. And we have so many other matters. Somebody reminded me a few days ago, or yesterday it might have been, that there was a matter, if you all recall this, where the owner of a taxi service shoot out the wheel of a vehicle that was hired, that was rented by ExxonMobil, a Prado. Man see the vehicle, he claimed that he had lost a Prado sometime, and he see the vehicle, he took out a pistol and shot the wheel out. Shot the wheel blew. He was arrested, they said, and so on. We are hearing nothing more about that. Nothing more about that. And they talk about transparency. They're talking about the end to corruption. That is what they do. They told us about the, and this is their report, you know, their report about the policeman who they said robbed the Chinese national who left the casino in Church Street. And then they say that some ranks were under close arrest. I understand that one person might have been charged, or two persons might have been charged, but the one who holds the rank of sergeant, the other one, still there, walking. Just send me picture of he walking all the thing. Man charged with robbery, police sergeant. And you hear nothing more. Sergeant Lindo, today's was 600 how many days? I didn't mention that earlier. 614 days since police sergeant Lindo. So, Minister, when you talk about corruption, you talk about transparency, this government is the least transparent. The least transparent government Guyana ever had. Least transparent. They have so many other matters. So many. We're going to come to the extradition story in a short while. I'll continue to share the light. But I thought I'll mention those matters now. Cece, let me hear you what you have to say.
Well, as you all know those matters, let me give some too, Let me get a piece of the button with them. Lola Dahl, one mission matter. She said she saw the suspect. She stared him in the eyes. He shot her. And even before that, I think sometime before that, the same area, somebody who they say is the son of a drug pusher, discharged about 17, they pick up 17 spent shells, not too far from Edgel, where Edgel is living. Me hear nothing but that. The senior superintendent, 4.4 tons of cocaine at Matthews Ridge. And nothing but it. Nothing, nobody charged. Persons who was in charge of CID there get promoted. Station sergeant get promoted. So, still drawing his salary. And as you mentioned the other day, Paul, is that you don't have to wait on the Police Service Commission. It's criminal offense. Charge him criminally. Then we had in the lockups, let him where a man hang himself with his bucktail. Jack Dio might say he had a slack bucktail. 51 police station to a man hang himself. Rhineville police station, a man died in the lockups with gunshot wound. Parafate Harmony, a man died at the station there. You weren't hearing anything about that? Parafate Harmony, a policeman get shot in his stomach. You had to do surgery to remove the bullet. You won't hear a word of that. Sergeant fingered in break and enter, a Caesar break and enter larceny in West Dem. A policeman got sentenced to 9 months in imprisonment. He wasn't interdicted. He wasn't dismissed. Served his 9 months. Went to the headquarters, only to be told, hey, for the 9 months you been in prison there, your family to draw your money, you gotta pay back the money. I know we ain't hear anything more about that. And so many of the multi-million dollars fraud in region number 1. 3 officers went in there in labor time to do investigation. Nothing. No police service commission. The commission died and was cremated in May. None. The police complaint authority died. No police complaint authority. Fraud at the police finance office. Guns disappear at TSU and other place. You weren't hearing nothing about them. You weren't hearing a single thing about them. And so many other issues. So many issues. And nothing is being done about it. And there's all the minister talking a whole bundle of nonsense. Talking about guilty share, but governance, but good governance. And there are many more, but then let me stop you for the while.
Right, first let me apologize. I made a mistake and I said Sergeant Lindo, but I meant Sergeant Alex Vaughn. I meant Sergeant Alex Vaughn. I know there's a Sergeant Lindo, retired sergeant. So let me make the point that Lindo, apologies, but I'm calling that for you, right? Somebody asked a question here. Somebody asked a question. What is the suggested solutions? We have, maybe this person is a new student, but we have been offering solutions in every program. When we talk about the corruption, we say one of the solutions to the corruption is to face up to it, be transparent. People commit themselves, put them before the court, and let the world know that you're putting them. Don't come up and OPR investigating and then nothing happens. This sex scandal at the police training facility there, right? I understand that the thing's still going on. They came out and they transferred an officer and 5 sergeants or something like that, moved them from the place. We ain't hearing nothing more about that. So maybe there's the extent to the action that they took. But we say you're asking for a solution. The solution is to face up with it and deal with it. Don't duck it and hide it. That is one of the main solutions. Face up. You have rogues and even vagabonds amidst you. When you find them, deal with them condignly, and don't give people the impression that you're covering these things up, because these things that we have announced are things that have all been publicized, and they give you an initial publication and there is no follow-up, and that is the problem. So no one trusts the police. No one believes somebody till said in an hearing. So something wrong. Check your system. Maybe you have to reboot or something like that, because others are hearing me quite clearly, and I can see at my end everything is fine. So those of you who are not hearing, maybe you need to reboot your system, come out of the classroom and come back in. Now, yeah, so the solutions have been mentioned repeatedly, student, repeatedly. And I've said maybe you are new to this program and therefore you would have missed the solution, because of every time we identify a problem, we tell them what they should do to correct the situation. Every single time. Solutions are there. We talk about solutions to deal with the traffic situation. What has happened? Nothing. Look, only yesterday. Look. Yesterday on the new bridge. Look what happened there yesterday.
Accident Punjab, they have a bridge again. She fancy, right? What really the man to do this is rain by enough speed. Oh, that's a serious lash of the man guy, you know. A serious piece of double in. Where you going to tongue? Funny wrong lane here, driver. Oh, up and spin wrong there. What really are you doing for this bridge here, boy? About 6 of them lash up here, all them lash up, all them down from there. They run down for the bridge, buddy, and the rain. Oh, what you got here, Jaji? Para jack the Harbour Bridge? What you got? Let row in.
Why do you want to jack the Harbour Bridge, right?
Wow.
I'm never, huh?
He got.
Yeah, multiple vehicle accident on the Demara Bridge yesterday. Multi-vehicle. And you know, the traffic chief said they're going to ask the government to put in speed cameras on the bridge. But let me tell you, the first shock I got when that bridge was open is when I discovered that they put the speed limit at 80 kilometers an hour on the bridge. 80 kilometers. I said, this we got to be crazy. Given the craziness, the lawlessness in the road, 80 kilometers is just the same as most of the places around. That's the fastest, apart from the Linden-Suzac Highway, where it is 100 kilometers an hour. The highest speed limit on the other roads is 80, so you make a bridge the same speed as the other places. 80 kilometers an hour. So you had this multiple vehicle smash up there yesterday. Apparently rain was falling. And as we said, People don't respect, they're going to road sense, they don't respect the conditions of the road and all of that. So it looked like there might have been a chain reaction type of accident on the bridge. And when you think that was enough, look what happened this morning. Look.
You see, different level of speed. I think we got drag racing in Securable. Man, clean out this whole rail. Huh? Chilling the manos. This is a different level.
Look, the accident you saw there, the last one there, according to the person who taken it, clean up the bridge, clean up some bridge and end up in my house. When I saw the picture for us, the still picture, I was wondering to know what happened, if it came out from the house or something like that. But as it's been explained there, on the road, lick up some culvert, end up in this thing. I don't know if any serious injury or so on. But that is the level of lawlessness that they have. And again, we say, no sensible solutions to deal with this thing. And it will continue. And we warn again, we said yes on the last program, the talk about reduction and we got to reduce in fatalities and we get that. And the man also other crap they're telling you. You got to face up to the thing. Let me repeat again. The situation on the road now in Guyana is not a situation the police alone can solve. And the way how the police behave, the traffic chief and others, because they believe that they are the ones who can solve it. You got to let the government know that this thing has gotten out of hand and it called for a multi-agency approach. The government got to lead the way. The government has to lead the way to bring back some type of sanity on the roads in Guyana. It's madness every day. And there is no exaggeration every day, right? Every day. So that is what is going on. That is what is going on, right? Big smash up on the bridge. Then we had this one at Anna, I think it was Anna Regina or somewhere there. I was mystified how this vehicle ended up there. And the man say is a stunt driver. And a man used another word that rhymes with stunt to describe the driver. But that is what is happening. And again, you got to face up to it. And that is what they're not doing. They're not facing up to it. Remember the minister said, let me read this before bringing Mr. Conway. The minister said, she also signaled our government's impatience with ineffective leadership of the Guyana Police Force, suggesting that there could be changes in order to provide improved public safety and trust. Minister Walton declared, this is the moment, quote, this is the moment for decisive leadership. The people will not wait, and neither will I. Well, it looked like we are all waiting in vain. It looked like we're all waiting in vain because, as the minister said, it calls for decisive leadership. And this decisive leadership that we're talking about, not only leadership in the police force, because, yeah, that is needed, but you want decisive leadership at the government level. The president, the minister of home affairs, you all have to lead with decisive leadership. You got to lead with decisive leadership. And so far, you have not shown an inclination to have decisive leadership. That is why the nonsense will continue. Or as Nyland will say, the nonsenseness will continue. Right? Let me bring in CC.
Yeah, and this one for another minister. Minister of Governance, Gail Tishiro. Remember she had a round table thing at one of the hotels there? I want to ask if these questions were discussed. 1, bureaucracy. 2, lack of transparency, especially as regards to the award of contracts, as well as entering into agreement with other parties. Another one, lack of timely and proper accountability for the use of public resources. Another one, political interference with decisions of key agencies. Another one, restricted flow of information of government programs and activities. Another one, appointment of key position based on considerations other than relating to professionalism and competence. Another one, weak political accountability. And this one is very prevalent. Nepotism and favoritism. You're talking about human rights, but all these are human rights violations that happening daily, that are widespread, and no action is being taken to bring the situation under some kind of semblance control, or to deal with those issues. Nothing whatsoever.
Yeah, well, if you're going to tackle corruption, and it's not only to have song bites or to tick the boxes. And the ones gets the impression that that is all they are interested in. Song bites. So the propaganda machine will run. The minister say this and the minister that. But we want to hear what you say. We're looking to see what you do, what the government do to make sure that this thing is tackled. It's about doing things. But all of these matters that we point out, all these many allegations of corruption, including, don't forget, and I've always said and I will continue to say, that this government has no moral, especially the vice president, no moral authority to talk about corruption until and unless a credible and proper investigation is done into that Sugate allegation. Until and unless a proper investigation is done into the allegation made by Junior Bash, where he claims that he calls even the president name and ministers' names of being involved in corruption and all that. And what happened? Nothing, you ain't got no investigation. So don't come and talk about corruption for y'all. As we did on one of the previous programs, corruption is not only a policeman taking a granger on the road, like some of y'all believe, or the police taking $2 million to get gun license, or police taking money to give driver's license. That is, of course, it is corruption, but that is not the extent of the corruption in the land. It doesn't always involve taking money. And we explained that in great detail before. Perhaps at some future time, we'll explain it again, because it is a subject that should be kept on the front burner. And we will keep it there, right? We will keep it there. I learned yesterday, I think it was, that the European Union released the report on the recently concluded elections. And I think they made recommendation. I haven't read it as yet. So I'm going to read it, and perhaps on the next episode, we can talk about it. But I understand that some serious indictments were handed out. Serious statements made. But I'm going to sweep it under the carpet, because I think they talk about constitutional changes and all that happen because the government abused the incumbency to get back into power. Now they've gotten back into power. They have no interest in creating anything. We done what we have to do. So you come now after the fact and talking about all these things. We ain't care. Just like how we ain't care that 2 weeks, we're going into the third week since the 13th Parliament was convened. And the Speaker, Mansour Nadir, can't call the meeting of the opposition members to elect the leader of the opposition. They can't. Up to now, he has not done so. And I read recently where he was given, I think was sometime by the Reinvest the National Party. They wrote him officially, one of the lawyers wrote him to say he must call the meeting or they're going to take legal action. Well, I believe they're going to take legal action because he is waiting, my belief too, he is waiting on instructions when to convene or when to call the meeting of the leaders, of the members of the opposition to elect the leader of the opposition. In the meanwhile, the government or the executive part of the government continues to function like if everything is all right and normal. Because remember, the government is now in the PPP and the president and the cabinet. Government, there are three branches of government, three separate branches of government. Cabinet with the president and his cabinet members. You have the judiciary, and then you have the legislative body, which is parliament, and they're in functioning. They're waiting until the last moment to convene beyond the stipulated time as prescribed by the Constitution. Beyond. So when they convened the meeting on the 3rd of November, it was 1 day outside of what the Constitution says that it should be. But nobody is picking up them thing. So therefore, one questions the legality of the whole process if it's outside the constitutional requirement. But you know, people don't bother with them things. They just left it like that. And then the precedent is set, and then it comes back to bite you in your backside sometime down the road. That is what happens. That is what happens. And I maintain, as we close off here now, I'm saying to you that all of this with the parliament and all of it has to do with the person who we expect to be the leader of the opposition, Asadin Mohammed, whose party we invest in national, gained the largest number of seats in the opposition, 16. The coalition got 12, and the Forward Ghana movement got 1. And they have said that they want Asadin Mohammed. Not they, the WIN people have said they want Asadin Mohammed. So it can be Asadin Mohammed. But the meeting got to be called first. The meeting has to be called first. So they're calling the meeting. In the meanwhile, they have that rare disease, Lamborghiniitis. Lamborghiniitis they're suffering from. I'm waiting to hear tomorrow, because I don't think they had the thing last Thursday, Thursday afternoon. They call it a press conference. People describe it by all kind of names. We hadn't it last week, Thursday. So I don't know if it's going to be held this Thursday. I noted that in the past, or at least since September, the Thursday afternoon session is not as frequent as it used to be. First time it would be every Thursday. Now I see them. I don't know if it's because of the disease, if the person is suffering from Lamborghiniitis, and therefore he has to take time off to get treatment for the disease. I don't know. So maybe tomorrow he can come again and cuss out and abuse out and everything wrong. Imagine, and I can call name because it's on the record. Imagine the vice president can talk about corruption, and they want the people who were involved in Asadin Mohammed, the collaborators, to be charged. Imagine that man can be making them kind of statement. And he get the biggest corruption allegation dangling over his head and no investigation. A man who holds all the powers. And if you really wanted an investigation, he can bring whoever you want to bring to do a credible investigation. The man didn't even ask Soku for doing an investigation. He didn't even ask Soku, an organization that has been alleged to be incompetent. He didn't even ask them, because one suspect that if he had asked them, he can tell them. He can write the report and give them the report to release. But he didn't ask them. He never asked them. And they're talking about corruption. Junior Bush made such a damning allegation about gold smuggling and all of that. What have they done? Absolutely nothing. The man gives such details. Gives such great details that as a former police officer, right, that is enough to launch a proper investigation. Even though there might be some level of retraction later, a lot of details were there for you to work on. Lots and lots of details, but nothing. But let me say this, before I bring in Mr. Conway for his closing, let me say this. You might not be doing anything locally, but I'm sure agencies, overseas governments are looking into all them type of thing. I'm sure. They're compiling their dossier. I'm sure they're doing that. So you can run and believe that, all right, nothing happening in Guyana. Files there. Trust me on that. Files are there. Let me bring in CC for his closing, and then we're going to sign out. CC?
I wonder why the police credit union not paying any dividends as required by law, by their regulation. And then I recall, Rambo, when Brutus deposit several millions in that police credit union, and we started to talk about that, and then things spread. That was the catalyst for widespread financial irregularities. I wonder if why the police credit union, not paying dividends. Is all well there? Is it in good health? And who is controlling it? I wonder. And I will continue to wonder until I get proper answers.
Yeah, my brother, thank you. Now, let me tell you, I should have mentioned it at the beginning. I had my court appointment again yesterday. I last count of the number of times I go into court, man. Yesterday, I went to court again in the charge. I was going to think about it, they charged me for anonymity of complainant. I think that is what the thing says. In other words, they accused me of revealing the name of the complainant in a sexual assault allegation. And they charged me for that. The matter came up yesterday, put off now to the 1st of December. Was no fault of the court or the prosecutor, they must admit. We had submitted we had made submissions and to the magistrate, but I think something went wrong and the submissions were not conveyed to the prosecutor. So as a result of that, the matter is now put off for the 1st of August, right? So I say August, what doing, man? The 1st of December. Something wrong. I'm running these months and back in these months, and I got to concentrate a little more. 1st of December. So as it is now, I go back to court on the 28th of this month, November, in the case, the sexual assault cases. Then on the 1st of December, I'm back in court. And on the 23rd of January, I'm in court again. Those are the dates that I'm aware of at this time. So, yeah, transparency. That's the word I don't know, man. I'm being transparent. I have nothing to hide. You do nothing, fear nothing. I have nothing to hide. So I will keep you updated with what is going on. Yeah, I'll share the life. You see, I have the Zelle number there, the Cash App number, the MMG number. Thanks for those who are making their contributions. And I encourage you, those of you who can, to continue to do so. Now, I ain't got time to talk about King Liar today. You don't have no time to talk about King Liar today, but trust me, it ain't done, sir. It ain't done, sir. No done as you like. No done as you like. People tell me they want the therapy, I'm gonna give you better than that. So you're gonna get your therapy, and then we can tell you our expectation for tomorrow. So here we go.
Sit there and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su? My relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place, yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes, yes, he is a friend of ours.
He claims.
Yeah, he's a friend of ours. They might be able, like, if you first time you hear the word relationship, the brain gone into overdrive. Relationship, he's a friend of ours. Su, that is not going on. And I continue to say, and I will continue to say, that Barra Jagdeo, the vice president, number 2, has absolutely no moral authority to talk about corruption until and unless that allegation is properly investigated. I don't care what the Sycopan say. They can send them. And talk about sending them, that one that they sent the other day there, and said slow is a way slow and so on. I get the feather and I get the lighter. I only waiting to get into proximity, and I'm gonna light the feather, and we gonna see what the reaction gonna be. Can anybody tell me that is the weakness? Light the feather and take the lighter, light the feather, and then we're gonna see if it's a loco, if it's a wada, or if it's a we can see. But in anticipation of tomorrow's session, I have to play you the mighty juke.
It was a big back day with Enid and she Makume. Big comments the other day with Enid and she Makume. I ain't want to hear, so I pass him straight. A fella pull me and tell me wait. Same time Enid husband get off the bus. Well, it's now the Makume start to cuss. She say, look Enid, remember it's you who say how you hire your husband so total bay. Your sweet man does come home in the house too. He could only watch and he can't say, yeah Enid, woman, why you lying on me? Girl, I'm not in your category. And if even said what you said is true, you have a man with your husband too. It hurt me, but I felt so shame when I hear she called him my name. He's so shocked, he don't know what to do, so he stand up there listening to. A policeman was right on the beat, run to make an arrest, but he come as sweet. Enid is a big socialist in South. She want to cuss, but she hardly open she mouth. Girl, you should shame to curse me for true. It's me, Enid, who you talking to. When you were sick in the hospital, I lend you me dress, me nighty and all. What you know about shame, the Makume say. You didn't shame last week Saturday when your husband come home earlier. Instead, you had to hide the man underneath the bed. When the man hear that, he face come pale as mud. If you choke him, you can't get blood. Watching the wife and shaking the head, I say, Lord, well, tonight she dead. And next comments, woman listening shout, hey, hey, mouth open man Tory jump out. This time the Makume put she hand on she waist, and if you see how she getting on in the place, she say, look Enid, it's better you leave and go. Don't let me talk everything I know, because you and Doris couldn't agree. You tie the child in the girl belly. I don't care what you say to do, I am still Mistress Enid Bedu. Bailey fair take back my TV set, and I never thief peas in the market yet. Now the husband shame, he couldn't take no more. He tell the wife, girl, come let we go. He hold she hand and he pulling she, but she tugging away from me. The Makume say, yes, you manny cool. You better take she away for true. She hire so dotish and borrow kid. What she give to rob, is that you take and eat? He say, listen young woman, stop making strife. You want to put me against my wife? In front me face, you're lying on she. My wife ain't have nobody with me. I know that man you are speaking about. That is her cousin who first from South. When he come home with a sleeping tree, sometime I myself does take he for me.
You didn't not share Makume. And even self, if you say what you say is true, you have the men with your husband too. That is abusing, man. Because you and Darius couldn't agree, you tied the child in the girl belly. Kaiso, you're going to hear a story there. Duke has been rivaled seriously, you know. The man suffering from Lamborghini-itis. Lamborghini-itis, that uncurable disease. So you can see what happened. And I got to give you all the next piece, man. Now, man. And then in the mood to make sure. Let me give you all this last one there, and then we can move on. Where we go?
I am told that during the course of next week, we will get some more extradition requests. Perhaps Mohammed will feel a little better.
That's 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, somebody, 3 weeks ago, that statement was made. I am told that during next week, you're going to get more requests. You think the Harlem thing, enough talk. You can't trust these people. They have absolutely no credibility. They are not credible. They are not credible. When you want to hear credible and valid information, you have to come to speaking out. Speaking out, exposing corruption, incompetence. Folks, you've had a long morning. The midweek's episode. We are going to be here again on Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock, God's Spare Life. That 4 o'clock New York time, 5 o'clock Guyana time for another episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Until then, I beg of you, I beg of you, I am pleading with you, I implore you to make sure that you stay safe. Stay safe. All sort of thing happening. I have a bridge crash up. Man carrying up in a house. All sort of thing going on in the place. So until then, stay well. Bye.